wanted Christmas to be right for Daddy's girl. I don't mean to hate December.
Thank you.
It's meant to be a happy time of year. But my little girl don't understand that Daddy can't afford Christmas. If we make it through December, I got plans to be in a warmer town come summertime. Maybe in California. If we make it through Taylor, you are compassionate, loyal,
Feels like Christmas.
committed. Gosh, companion and loyalty. It's just, I could say that a lot about those three things, but the companionship that I feel with her runs very deep, and I know that whatever comes, we're going to be linked to each other's sides and hips, and we're going to make it, and not just make it, but enjoy life to its fullest.
James, you are kind, you are a friend, and you are safe. I love how you help me grow, and you make me a better person. And I feel like I can mess up, and you still love me. And you forgive, and you're just my very best friend.
My name is Josh Causey. I have the privilege of being James and Taylor's pastor and of officiating their wedding today. Last night at the rehearsal dinner, there was talk of how you guys met because James was going to play a session or audition for a session in one of Taylor's recordings, and that's how they met. And they were talking about just how grateful they were that James learned to play the dobro and all that stuff. And I want all you to know that my mom was James's first music teacher. And so, on behalf of my mom, you're welcome. One of the things that is no surprise to anyone who knows either of you is that we're standing on a farm, you know? And when you guys first started hanging out and dating and everything, and all the first things that I heard were like, Taylor's like, it's like the girl version of James. And how much you guys had in common and how similar you were in so many ways. I mean, you know, they both love agriculture and they both love country music and they both sing and they play guitar and all this kind of stuff. And so it's not a surprise that we're here.
I have always believed that God has a plan for all of us. The problem is figuring it out. Now I can look back and see the path that led me to my wife, which led to our son, James. I believe it is also a part of God's plan that Taylor and James met each other and fell in love. It wasn't my plan. I failed miserably. A few years ago, when James was in college, there was this young lady that was interning at Farm Bureau where I worked. I had to brag about my son some and talk music and whatever, and so I brought it up to James one day that they were, I think, recording or getting ready to do some performances, and hey, if you need another guitar player and a young lady that can really sing good, you ought to come by the office and I'll introduce you to. And he blew me off because I was meddling and I wasn't doing it for love interest. I don't do that kind of stuff. No Cupid here, but strictly music. It failed miserably. A few years later, he called me one afternoon and said, "Dad, I'm going to New Roads. I'm gonna go audition to play on a song that a young girl's written, and I haven't met her before or anything, but do you know any of the Fries? And I said, yeah, I do. I said, you're gonna go see Taylor Fry. Well, how do you know that? I said, because that's the girl I tried to get you to come over and meet.
I was in the studio, and the producer, the guy who was helping me record, he said, you need a dobro player. And I didn't know what a dobro was.
I get to her house. I remember opening my door and banjos and dobros and pedal steels and amps were like falling out my truck. And so she had like the whole band in a corner of a room just like this. And I think it was my way, or her way of testing to see if I was good enough to play.
And then everybody left that night, all my friends, and then James like was in a chair like this. And everybody left and he went like this. And then I was like, oh God, he's gonna ask me questions.
And I pulled up a chair and I said, so like, tell me about like your family, like what your relationship with Jesus is like. What?
We talked about farming and Jesus and music, and I was like, oh, I love him.
And I remember staying there for another hour and a half, and pretty much we both left just like jaw dropped at like, it was a conversation where everything was welcomed in and everything was being thought about, and you could tell that there was a well-intentioned heart behind it.
So last night, Mr. Kyle said how we're two peas in a pod, and so like watching through the slideshow, like I'm just so grateful.
He almost died.
Hey, Dad. Hi.
Whoa.
Oh, yay.
Okay,
She looks pretty, my dad.
she's gorgeous,
Thanks.
but you always pretty.
Struck a chord on your old Martin guitar. While your fingers plucked every string of my heart. It was more than just music, the sound of you singing.
Because of your love for Christ and your love for one another and the covenant you are a part of, it's a privilege to pronounce you husband and wife. And you may kiss your bride. So let me present to you for the first time, James and Taylor McCann.
home.